Welcome back to On the Beat, everyone. I'm over here with Cline Stevens, attorney at law, and today we're talking all about estate planning for, that's right, today's seniors. How are you, my friend?
I'm doing well.
Welcome to the show. Now, if you're a senior, what do you qualify as an age for senior to begin with? Because sometimes I think I'm a bit of a senior citizen myself.
Right. Well, when we're talking about senior citizens, you're generally talking about somebody who is 65 or older.
Okay.
But that doesn't mean that estate planning is only for that age of people.
Well, what do you qualify as estate planning?
Well, when I think about estate planning, there's three basic documents that I feel like every person should have in an estate plan, and that's a will, a power of attorney, and an advanced health care directive. But when I say an estate plan, I'm talking about a comprehensive plan that's going to protect you from the time you sign those documents and you leave my office. It's going to help you have somebody in place to make medical decisions for you if you cannot. It's going to name someone to be your power of attorney to help you make financial and business decisions if you cannot. And then your will is there to help you make sure that your assets pass after you pass away to the people that you intend. So it's really from the time you leave my office all the way until after death.
Well, I have to say, I'm sure everyone sitting at home, when you hear the word estate, you immediately think wealth. You have to be wealthy to have an estate. Correct? That's such a misconception, right?
Absolutely, it is a misconception. You don't have to have any specific amount of money to have an estate plan or to need an estate plan. And really, I feel like every person who's 18 or older needs to take some time to consider making an estate plan.
Yeah.
You know, I'm in my mid-30s, and I used to be like the cobbler without any shoes. You know, I didn't have any estate planning documents in place. But thankfully, I was able to convince my husband, and we finally put some in place a couple of years ago. But I want to make sure that if something were to happen to me unexpectedly, like a car accident or an unexpected illness, that my family could make medical decisions for me, that they could access my finances and make sure that my insurance policies remained paid and things like that.
And I have to say, you know, you see a lot of advertisements on the TV when it comes to documentation that specialize that, and this is called LegalZoom. How is that different to what you're doing?
And that's a good question, you know, and I like to liken LegalZoom to WebMD. You know, if you put your symptoms in WebMD, you're usually going to wind up in a panic attack because you get a terrible outcome. Those documents, at first glance on LegalZoom, they might seem really impressive, but what they aren't is tailored to your specific needs, and that's something that you can really only replicate with somebody who's sitting in front of you, having a face-to-face, honest conversation about what your needs are, so that they can tailor documents that are specific to you and your family's situation. You can't replicate that with an online service because there's not somebody there having a detailed conversation with you, like, are your children able to handle your finances? If they receive an inheritance from you, is it going to be a benefit to them or a detriment? You know, do they have addiction issues, or are they struggling with things that we need to make sure we're considering in your estate planning documents?
A question I want to ask, and it's a personal question, what's a revocable trust?
Well, a revocable trust is something that you hear a lot about on the news, especially through little mailers that might come to your house. It is a document that allows you to transfer all of your properties into one kind of pot, or you retitle everything into that one thing. And the purpose of that, the main benefit, is so that when you pass away, your estate would not have to be probated.
Right.
Now, probate's the legal process that's required when you pass away to distribute your assets to those people that you intend. In other states, it can be extremely expensive. That's not necessarily the case in Mississippi. Most attorneys don't charge based on the value of your estate. But to do a revocable living trust appropriately, it requires a lot of intentional actions on behalf of the client.
Well, we have a lot more to ask you. We've run out of time. Thank you so much. If you want to find out this and many more questions when it comes to all your legal advice, there it all is up on the screen for you, everyone. Cline Stevens, attorney at law. As you can tell, she has great information. Back after this short break.